Yo, what's good? Royalty Trades late night charting session. Um, I want to take a look at the market because, as we can see, we went from having this consolidated area right here to now we briefly touched back within that area, which was um, the previous day's highs, and we used those highs as support today and pushed up and we traded pretty much into a supply zone. So if I go and I turn on my gaps indicator to see where supply is, um, pretty much what happened from the looks of it is keep in mind my orange lines are projected price targets, green lines are support, red lines are my resistance, which I don't have any label right now, but what it looks like the market did today was it set it up to chop in both directions, burn premiums, and let earnings and probably some pre-market mover dictate the direction that we're gonna go. So um these two gaps right here, this one and this one, I wanna say they both show up. Okay, so they both show up on a daily time frame. Lets me know they're a little bit more weighted. Now, this gap up that we got today is showing up on the four, which means it can fill and consolidate around here and try to retest lower levels, or it can fill and go back up and retest supply. We won't know really until we break above this 553 and hold and go up and retest these 562 levels, which we'll see our next level of resistance. And then we might be able to see this turn into new support levels. So I've really been trading light. Um, in the Patreon group, we did see Nvidia break above 114 today, and we took 119 calls, 816 expirations. So if we go back and we look at this today, as you can see, it's been selling off massively. So, I mean, this whole area right here, we actually had a shorter consolidated range right here, which we was able to call one day between 116 and 111. And once it made that move below 111, we seen this thing crash all the way down toward 103.80, almost one on one. So this was a massive move down. I thought we was gonna see somewhere around 101, but of course the market recovered. Um, it ended up closing around 103, and then coming into today, we had this massive gap up, probably from a AMD sympathy play. They moved up pretty well after hours, and then we seen some of the semiconductors start following afterwards, and that helped push the market above this little area here, and it used that zone to kind of bounce. It opened up here, it dropped down and tried to find a little support. Buyer stepped in, pushed it back up. Once it broke this 114 range here, that's when we enter calls up to 119, up to resistance. So going into closing, we are trading into this gap supply zone here up to 122. So we'll definitely want to see how the price action reacts tomorrow to see if those levels hold or not, and if we get enough volume to push up to 125.90. So what's pretty much is going to have to happen is the entire market is going to have to move together. SMH holdings are going to have to move together, AMD included, in order to see the semiconductors and NVIDIA as a collective push to break above that supply level. Now, this is resistant. Even though we make it past that supply level, it's going to take a lot of movement. And if it runs out of steam, getting up to this 125 level, 126, then we could see it come back down and retest these 119 levels and continue to bounce off of this descending um, trend right here. So, I mean, the market's still in the air. That's why I said when we looked at SPY and we looked at the Qs, that gap creates a no man's land, and it's doing that to pretty much stall out both sides. You know, you can get in early, like today we took the NVIDIA 119 calls. You get in, you make money off it on open. You get a brief little push up, and then supply kicks in and sucks the price action back down to yesterday's. Well, it's gonna be today's closing prices. It'll be yesterday's um, prices, but that's pretty much what happens when they trade into supply. Like here's the cues. Supply starts above 474 and trades all the way up to 480. So right now we look at the cues from a weekly perspective. We've seen a trend bounce here, which was last Thursday. It tested 455 and it recovered pretty nicely, ran all the way back up to 467. So going into the rest of the week, Friday and Tuesday, we've seen this consolidated range here for the most part. So when you're trading these, especially 0 days or just trying to find good entries on Qs or anything, and if you notice that it's in the consolidated range, you definitely want to highlight the movement so that way, if it breaks below, you can take a call, 0 day, weekly call on the way back up and vice versa back down. So right here, we seen a brief break below trend and it caught at 454, immediately got bought back up and traded back above on this rising trend right here. Like I said, AMD had earnings, moved the market up pretty well. We opened and they used that old resistance on a consolidation zone. It used that as support, pushed up a little bit. And today we had Meta, Qualcomm, and ARM earnings. Yesterday we had Microsoft. Microsoft flushed down to about 393, but then it recovered. And I think it opened around like 417 or 416, but I'll go to that next. Um, but as you can see, I want to say going into close today, um, Qs did push up towards that 480. I have to go see. I don't have the data showing right now, but I think we did move up and start filling that gap up some. So that's going to be another level to watch. Also, Microsoft, they flushed because I think they missed their Azure um, EPS by like 2%, 1%, and it completely dropped down all the way to, I said, the 393. And it's not showing because the data, it never opened with that price action being down there, but it briefly touched 393 and then it shot right back up. And I think it closed within this 411, 408 range. And today we opened Today we opened here within that 417, 418, briefly dropped to 412 and then quickly recovered back up. But as of right now, if I'm watching this, this was this was the consolidated zone right here. And we could have watched this continuously trade within there between 422 and 414. So everything's moving in choppy ranges to burn premiums if you're not aware of where to enter and where to exit. Um, Other than that, what's happening is it's gapping up the next following day. And then, like I said, we already had prior gap downs from the previous week. So we're trading up into supply. That supply kicks us out and then sends us back down towards the demand zone. So it's just tug of war right now. The price action is going to get real narrow. You're going to see premiums start to get eaten away if you're not taking at the absolute top or absolute bottom. If you're not very experienced trading these price actions, you definitely want to sit on your hands, preserve some cash. Don't try to be a hero and you know beat the market on days to where it's not really moving or we're opening and the moves already is made. So one thing that I've been looking at that I like is ticker symbol on. So they flushed after hours today and I'm liking it. I already got my levels mapped out. Like I say, a good chart, you shouldn't have to move anything. You should be able to watch your trend levels play out and wait on them to play. If it drops here, I know I'm gonna take my entries. If it breaks below, I'm gonna give it some time, see if it wants to come and retest lower levels. But that's my trick that I do. I play rising trend levels, and I like to keep a consistent chart. I don't like switching up my charts every day. I like to be able to move my support and resistance levels, track my future targets, and play like that. So um, that way my chart stays consistent. I can always be able to play them levels. You got Fibonacci and moving averages and stuff like that. Those things are good, but they're lagging indicators. Fibonacci retracement, they readjust based off time frames. So it's good for finding consolidated movements. But for the most part, long-term investments, I like to already have my trend levels marked out, mapped out. So all I have to do is open up the screen, see what the price actions, trading it, and make my entries based off of those. So looking at on, if we open anywhere between or under this 127 level, I think I'm grabbing longs. I have one more level down here just in case it continues to drop around 118, 117. But I think I'll take my chances down here around 124, 123. I'm liking longs. Once the market opens tomorrow, I can go and check out the Greeks and see where the open interest and the volume is going to be at. I'm anticipating the volume to be kind of low and eventually work his way up back up through the day. But I like on, even though it's not part of the Magnificent Seven, I like the way it trades. So I mean, they beat on both ends. I don't see why not. So this is probably one of my long plays that I'll be grabbing and holding into the end of the year. Now I do see this gap right here. And that's a possible move. You know, we might not get it exactly in one take, but it's possible that we see, a move down here, come back up, kind of trade within his range, roll back over, and eventually fill. down here between 122, 121. So it's possible, but I don't like to play too ahead of the market. I like to take what I see, and if the levels present itself, then that's when I pivot, call an audible, and readjust. So that's something that we did today on NVIDIA. Some of the members been asking me if the bottom's in. If the bottom in. One thing about me, I don't like calling bottoms. I like to look for the trend to first develop, and then once it develops, then we can consider that a possible bottom for the time being and play off of that. If you go and look on a daily chart, if you were trying to time the bottom on NVIDIA, your premiums were getting eaten alive. Your calls was getting killed like all week long. People thought, hey, we in the bottom here. It retested midway, came and just flatlined, died there, opened up, died there, recovered, recovered, and next day died again. So we did have a strong green candle today. Um, it's kind of a bearish engulfing to this one. As you see, almost a V-like recovery, a drop, and then a pop back up and push. But keep in mind, we do have this gap that's sitting in here. If you go to the smaller time frame, that's eventually gonna have to be filled. When, we're not sure, but just know price action is gonna get tested down here between 109 and 106 at some point. Maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, but just know it's gonna happen. Um, Bitcoin has been selling off. It broke below 65.5, which was one of my key levels. And y'all, right now it's sitting at 64. So this is going it's gonna take an impact on coin and Mara possibly. Now we're breaking below this 64.3. I don't I don't know why I have don't have any support until the 62.7, lower 63 levels. If so, that's gonna hurt. Um, let's see if I got all my levels mapped out though. So that's a big dramatic drop. That's a big drop. Yeah. So I mean, right now here's the ranges here if we follow it out. So I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible that we could drop down towards 60K and see that price action following within these ranges. So earlier in the week, I did call coin. We did a Zoom call with some of the members Sunday to kind of go over a watch list. I did say that this could go and retest 218 and possibly drop somewhere around 215 below that. We just have to watch. That's going to be something that we have to watch and see what's going to happen with Bitcoin dropping off right now the way that it is. So if that plays out, it'd be a beautiful play. Of course, it opened high, flush back down to 224, and then tomorrow, depending on how Bitcoin works, if it stays low or we open around 61, you can expect to see this 218, possibly below 216, be worked on tomorrow before a recovery. Both of them have earnings tomorrow. Coin has earnings after market close. Mara has earnings tomorrow. I don't know if it's confirmed or not because it doesn't have a day or night. So we'll just see how it plays out. But yeah, Bitcoin is actually suffering right now, possibly looking to drop down and flush within the 62 to 60 level. So um Meta, I think that's my last one I'm gonna do real quick. Meta, it actually jumped and closed 509. It had good earnings. It beat everything, I believe. Yeah. And it closed here at 476. It pushed all the way up towards 509, I believe. So we can see that move consolidate tomorrow within these ranges. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Yeah, I don't see anything that's causing it to come down really other than the market, but I'll just see how price action reacts around here. See if we want to make this melt up right here, the same we came down to the 508 level. See if we want to make that run back up somewhere around here. So between 527 to 540, 540, 541. That'd be something that I'll be watching for a possible movement tomorrow if we break above this 508, 509 level and push back up into this zone. So this is an interesting week. We got more market movers, pre-market movers. The Fed say leaving rates unchanged at the moment. We got Apple, we got Amazon, and I think you have one more. But I'm just playing everything safe at the moment. I'm not gambling on any earnings plays and taking it one day at a time. So if you are getting anything out of these charts, like I said, I'm gonna continue to do it a whole lot more. Very, very new to the YouTube game, very new to the live charting and everything. But I've been doing technical analysis for a good little minute now. So um, like the video, subscribe. If you have anything that you possibly want charted or want looked at, comment, let me know. I do have a Patreon. Like I said, it's free access, but man, it's free access. But if you just want to be in the community that I have set up, there you go. You're just gonna watch this drop off live. But yeah, man, tap in. That's all I got for you right now. Hope y'all be on the right side of the market. I'll tap in with y'all tomorrow. I'm out.